Welcome to How to Find Time in September. So we're in September. That means that we have September, October, November, December, 4 months left of the year. It's a third left. And many set goals that they want to achieve by the end of a year. And we're getting closer now. So still long enough to really make a plan to make these things happen. And in holistic time management, I help people set a plan for the week so they have a balanced week and then you can have a balanced life. I help with monthly planning so that you don't have to become stressed out in the end. You can spread things out and you can be more predictable. And I talk about the daily planning, that you don't get stuck in things, that you always progress throughout the day. But what I want to talk about today is another type of planning, and that's the long-term planning. The planning that means that you know you're at some place today and you want to be somewhere else another day. So say that you want to be somewhere else at the end of this year or at the end of this month, then you want to have a type of long-term plan. And I will talk about 3 different versions of long-term plans, and I hope that this will be helpful for you. So first, if you are looking into something that is fairly straightforward, you have a particular deadline in mind, but it's much and it's easy to get overwhelmed and you don't really know, will I find time to do all of that? Then I suggest you do work breakdown structure, or WBS. A very common tool in project management and in a lot of different businesses to take this big chunk like an elephant and see, okay, where do we start? If I'm going to wash this elephant, where do I start? So the work breakdown structure starts with, this is where we want to be. How do I get there? Okay, I know I'm going to take care of these 4 pieces. Okay, and this per piece, what is required to get that done? And then you go one level deeper and one more level until you come to a phase where it's easy to understand each specific task and you can easily put them out into a plan. So that works when you have a deadline in mind and when you know more or less what to do, but it's just much. There are times when we don't know exactly what to do, so the planning and figuring out what to do goes a bit hand in hand. You want to include a brainstorming into your planning. Then I suggest you use a problem statement together with issue trees. This is less common, less known than the work breakdown structure. So I'm going to give you some links to blog posts I've written about them to help you. But the intention here is that the problem statement, even though it's called a statement, it's actually a question. And you need to write that for yourself in a way that clarifies what you want to achieve. And you put it in a question that will guide your action. That's the root or the trunk. And then we're going to look at the branches, and the branches will always answer the question. So you can have this root, and then you find 2 ways to answer the question, or 3 or 4. And these branches, they are so-called messe, mutually exclusive, collectively exhaustive, meaning they don't overlap, but they do answer the question together. This is great for brainstorming. Okay, how can I do this? I could do it this way, and then I could do it that way, and I could do it this way. And just like with the work breakdown structure, once you have these branches, then you take another step, and you take another step until it's easy enough to have a number of tasks that you can plan. And thirdly, I want to talk about the type of goal that you might have where progress is more important than a particular deadline. That this is something I want to achieve. I want to have this done. I'd love for this to happen. It doesn't really matter if it's December or January or March or even another year, but I want to make continuous progress. Then I really enjoy it. And this I use much more than I used to, maybe because I'm doing a lot more dreamy work nowadays. Set your vision. Be clear about what is it that I want. Imagine that you're there. Get all these feelings there, your own feelings, all of that. Imagine that you're there. And then you don't need to know how to get there. You only need to know what's the first step. So you have your vision. You figure out what the first step is. You take that. Then you realize, hey, now you have a new vantage point. You're in a new place. Now what is the next step? Keep your eye on that vision. Take the next step and then the next. So vision, next step, is another approach. that is especially good when progress is more important to you than a specific deadline. So those are my 3 tips for long-term planning and how to find time in September, is to help yourself get progress towards those goals that you might have set for yourself, maybe to be done this year. If you have a deadline, you more or less know what to do, but it's just overwhelmingly much, use a work breakdown structure. If you don't really know what to do, then it's a great thing to do is to use problem statements and issue trees, because then you have the brainstorming included. And third, if you want to progress towards a vision and you have no clear way forward, you don't really know how to get there, keep your eye on the vision and just decide what the next step is. Good luck.